first observations made by the fire department is that there was some works being done, welding, etc. And annex building, which is a side building, on you'll see it on arrival. There was a smoke and fire that came from the roof, and our fire department immediately responded. And of course, when they respond, our category of safety went down. So we had to close the airway, the air traffic for 1 hour. This happened at 11 o'clock. At 11:55, all clear was given, so it was back to normal.
How busy was the airport at the time, Mr. Mingo?
We're not really busy. There was no immediate delays on any flights, as far as I know. I don't have the detailed report, but within an hour, within 50 minutes, it was back up and running, so a minimum effect.
Can you help us to understand as to some of the precautionary measures taken during the process?
Well, whenever you're doing construction and there's metal works, the airport is a metal building. You have welding, you have cutting, and, there is, there's protocol of having fire extinguishers, someone on watch, and that all happened. But, if a spark or a welding piece comes between the cladding and it catches a fire, something that you can't see, these things happen. It's a live construction site, and the guys responded well, and that's why minimum damage.
As you just indicated, we're going to have a discussion about what security level is going to be established for St. Martin. That's a very intense discussion, I would say, because we have to know the level of security we can provide here in St. Martin. We know that we have been sending certain persons of our inmate population to the Netherlands to assist us because risk levels are being assessed, and it is determined that it's best if, with, of course, cell capacity being a discussion. We just put out the ankle bracelet policy, which we've had some really good discussions with our stakeholders that are involved with making decisions on whether one should be placed directly in the facility or if they can serve on the ankle bracelet. So indeed, it is a very intense discussion that is going to take place now. But I must say that the relationship with UNOPS is a very fruitful one thus far, and I look forward to us continuing to work with them. Your next question.
The IND and persons, how many persons got permit with the project that was taking place?
The last update that I got was somewhere around 10 completed, and that comes from the reality of there are reactions, there are appointments being set, but the provision of the necessary documents in a timely manner continues to be a challenge. And I know persons like to express that it's a tedious one, but these same documents are relevant in any aspect. If you're going to open a bank account, etc., you have to be able to show the structure of your company, that you are well established, you're paying your taxes, etc. So I'm oftentimes not really understanding why it takes such a lengthy period to submit the documents that are required. Sometimes individuals are asked, or companies, I should say, are asked for additional documents because maybe what you've submitted in the initial state posed an opportunity to ask additional questions because certain things were just not making sense. And for that reason, persons tend to get a bit irate about it, but it is necessary for us to be to ensure that we are taking the proper steps, that companies are in good standing and that they are submitting correctly for their staff. We did extend the period until the 1st of October. And why the 1st of October? Because the processing time is actually 30 days. And with our season beginning the 1st of November, we need to have our immigration officers in place to be able to handle what we expect to be a very fruitful season for St. Martin. So I don't have any additional numbers in terms of the completed files or completed applications in the process, but I can get those numbers.
the government comes out with them, questions are asked, the supporters of the government in parliament play along by not having the meetings, not convening the meetings, and we're sitting here asking these questions, and it seems to be all we're seeing right now is the ministers kind of running a race in terms of who's going to come out with some idea, some plan, some proposal, and just throw it out there. And we are expected, regardless to who says what about, but let them do, or those kind of things, you would see from several reports, especially of the General Audit Chamber, calling on Parliament and the members of Parliament to do their job. Not to accept what the government is saying, as much fluff as they put around it, but we have a job to question the things that the government is doing. An example is the issue of the very scant information that we got regarding this underwater museum. But the hurtful part in that particular instance is the fact that the minister came out and said everyone was consulted, only to hear then foundations such as the Nature Foundation coming out and saying, well, minister, that is not the way it went. No, you have not received a comprehensive report. You asked us to do, and now I'm paraphrasing, a quick scan type of an assessment, and we did that, but we did not do the kind of due diligence that the minister purported that was done by the organizations. And so we see it in different areas where the ministers are talking about having consulted stakeholders and others. And in essence, when you ask the questions, it appears that that is not the case.
This opposition coalition thing, it's something that for some reason the image of the parliament system of St. Martin is as if only coalition members are supposed to work and opposition just supposed to complain. I was an opposition member for 2 years. During that time, I presented 5 laws and a mullet bay inquiry. It is also the right of opposition members to be able to bring laws. For example, in such an unfortunate situation, I would say, okay, let's speak to the coalition members, because there's a political backfire on also saying, wait a minute, this law was being worked on last term. I have this law and I am taking it up, and I, as member of parliament, am bringing it to the floor of parliament. Who wants to take the accountability, for example, for not continuing raising the pension of the people of St. Martin, or raising the minimum wage for the people of St. Martin, or solving the banking problems of the people of St. Martin when that legislation is right there? Even as a coalition member, I've gotten support from many of my amendments from opposition members for that political reason, because there is a voting record. Are you going to vote against the amendment that brought 5 million guilders towards tourism? Are you going to vote against, even though it's Bryson owned, are you going to vote against his banking legislation that helps 21% of the people in our country finally have a right to a bank account? And etc., etc. So there is that, I must say, sort of level of maturity that has increased within the parliament as a overall. There are opposition members I sit with and I say, hey, how can we work on this together? Can this get you support? They will say, you know what? Maybe if you adjust this, can you also include that? And then it ends up getting broad support. It is really the task of parliamentarians to also realize that their individual vote counts and matters. Your right to initiative, your right to ask questions, both in writing and so on. It cannot just be an opposition coalition thing. Whatever role you are in parliament, that is how I have been. I've been in opposition, I've been in the coalition, and I never changed. I focused on the work for the people. It's unfortunate that some choose not to do that. But I stuck to those values. That was my promise entering politics, and I wanted to do that. And I feel like within our entire team, when you hear Mr. Otley mention these laws that he is bringing forward as well, these are things indeed, and coming back to the stability factor, there seems to be a trend in the past where, okay, a minister come in, but Wendell was a minister before? No, I mean doing that because he gonna get the credit. Why is it always about credit? Why can't it just be, let me put that aside, because at the end of the day, Minister Moore brought something that's good for the people of St. Martin, and I'm going to continue it because at the end, that's my duty. And I think that's the work ethic that we have brought forward as the United People's Party. We have, if something is good, we've continued it. If something, for example, when he worked on the general health insurance, was going in the right direction, but he needed to change and adjust it, which was what we had advised him. The problem with the GHI in the past is that it was being brought as one big package of complete healthcare reforms, and because one or two aspects of it were questionable, it wouldn't get the political support in Parliament. What he did now is dealt with them in phases. Well, let's first deal with the SZV limit, which will bring more money into the pool. Then let's deal with the pension. Let's deal with the mixing of the funds and how the funds should be managed so that the Parliament has a palatable way of dealing with it. I think we've come up with a new strategy as the United People's Party on how to really get things done and not wait until election, because all of these laws that you see are at the end. It takes long, like the trajectory said. But if from day one you go in with the work ethic that I need to start now so that within this 4-year term it gets done, then you see the accomplishments pile up.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.
During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emil Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, LB Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welcalaken Road K Hill from Welcalaken Road Roundabout until the One Tete Loke Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Cooper Coy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingolf.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
I said it on my radio program tonight that the management of the airport needs to look into it and look into it now and just fix it. And then I saw the program from Andrew Day that someone sent to me where he received a note or a letter from the commercial manager. Now that gentleman just came there. He's newly on the job where Balancerium have had these workers here from since they are there. So for him to write such a letter saying that they're not aware of it, then of course he is not aware of it because he doesn't have about 2-3 months yet on the job. But the fact that they are going to look into it and deal with it post-haste tells me that they are well aware of it. Even if it's racism to the highest level, It's segregation to the highest level. It's discrimination to the highest level. And not only should the management, but the government should look into this matter. Because now from the acknowledgement of the letter itself from the commercial manager tells me that there's some truth to the matter. I don't believe that these individuals will come to me with such a story. But it's not the first time that I've heard it, but I didn't hear it in such details as it is, that there's a separate canteen and separate bathrooms for the Turkish workers down on the airport, and the St. Martin workers that are on contract cannot use the canteen nor the bathroom. And if they do, they will be fired on the spot. And if they complain, they can also be fired. So a lot of them fear for their jobs and they say nothing and they accept it as it is. Even not in this country. Not in this country. Don't come here with your nonsense and your nasty attitude and expect the people of this country to accept it, not my people. So I'm saying this again, deal with this issue and deal with it fast. As a matter of fact, I think the prosecutor's office should get involved in this. And they should get involved with it strongly, even, because it's unacceptable.
You realize the severity of this allegation. You're saying that this was made by an employee of the reconstruction site to your person?
Yes, yes, yes. Two individuals, two employees working for Ballast Needham, working for the reconstruction of the airport. They were told, and it's not the first time, it's not a new occurrence incident that they are not, it's just that it reached to a stage now where they felt that they should say something about it, but please keep them out of it. Because they are saying that they cannot use the same bathroom that the Turkish workers use. They cannot use the same canteen that the Turkish workers frequent to get their stuff to eat. They are saying that they cannot use them. And if they do use them, they'll be fired. Yes, Stephen.
Did you, as a member of parliament, try to ascertain from the person in question as to whether or not they have reported that situation to management?
No, they haven't, because they can't, because of the vindictive nature of the airport. They are saying that management knows about it. They are saying Ballast Needham knows about it, because Ballast Needham have the contract from the airport, and Ballast Needham have contracted another company that have Turkish workers there. They are saying that they very well know about it. Everyone knows about it, and the management of the airport knows about it, but they cannot say nothing. They were told not to say nothing at the risk and the tune of losing their jobs. Jobs are hard to come by now, Stephen.
Minister Arian, can you kindly give us an update on the status of the 2024 budget, the basic bank account law, and the process to introduce stickers for 2024? Are we definitely going to see that going into effect next year? Thank you so much.
So the first question was regarding the 2024 budget. Yes, the budget is currently still on schedule. The idea is to have it passed this year. The second question was regarding the
basic bank account
law. So I know we did our part. I went to Raad van Advies, to the Council of Advice. So I have to follow up to see where that is. It should be on its way to Parliament in the end of the third quarter, at least for sure. And the stickers, a project is being initiated now, I believe, with a potential campaign. So the initial project, I believe, is with all the government vehicles and so forth. I believe, I'm not too sure if you were also extended that invitation to part of the initial project. So once we have that and get some feedback, I'll be able to better determine on the next steps. But so far, so good.
With you, the new Kentaco. A combination that will surprise the most curious palates. Combining the deliciousness of KFC chicken and the practicality of a taco. With a doubly delicious ergonomic shape. Wow! Compatible with all types of bites. New Kentaco. Enjoy a double breaded chicken breast with our secret recipe. Cheese, lettuce, and tomato. New Kentaco, the innovation that's in everyone's mouth.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.
Caribbean Airlines is the newest airline providing airlift to the Twin Island Federation. A welcoming ceremony for the inaugural flight was held on Monday. Mervyn Thompson has the details.
It was a warm welcome for the Caribbean Airlines on Monday morning as its first flight taxied across the runway of the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport in St. Kitts and Nevis. An occasion that was marked with the presence of Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, Minister of Tourism Honorable Masha Henderson, Chief Executive Officer of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority Ellison Thompson, other ministers of cabinet, personnel of the Ministry of Tourism, and other notable persons. During a welcoming ceremony at the Cayenne Jet Lounge, CEO Thompson spoke of the initial conversation that led to this day.
One thing we want to point out is that we started our journey with Caribbean Airlines about 16 months ago in San Antonio, Texas. Today makes it all worthwhile. All the negotiations that we've had, it's great to see the aircraft actually on the ground. So our strategy was to propel the rebound of tourism in St. Kitts, and we wanted to improve the destination's visibility on the global stage and really improve regional connectivity. Today, the arrival of Caribbean Airlines is a testament to these two goals. With the increased visibility of the destination through more strategic marketing, increased PR, and a brand new campaign, Venture Deeper, that has really resonated globally and internationally. So we've garnered much attention for the destination, and we've also been named the buzziest destination in the Caribbean by Caribbean Journal.
Prime Minister Drew noted that St. Kitts and Nevis is trying to boost regional travel, highlighting a conversation with fellow heads of government that took place in the Bahamas earlier this year. He praised the airlines for connecting the region and families, eliminating the need to fly to U.S. airports in the north in order to go to southern destinations.
Just recently when I was in Bahamas, I had the opportunity to speak at the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. And when I spoke, 1/3 of my speech was dedicated to intra-regional travel. For whatever the legacy issues were, I don't think that the people of the Caribbean were willing to continue to hear those. The people in the Caribbean were willing to listen to how can I get from St. Kitts and Nevis and get down south? How can I get north? How can I get that connectivity? So I want to say to Caribbean Airlines, you're not only expanding our tourism product, you're also keeping families together. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Honorable Masha Henderson praised the momentum of the Ministry and Tourism Authority, speaking of the factors that influence visitors' likelihood of choosing destinations.
This new flight adds to the ever-changing increase of airlift into the Federation. This is in fact the third announcement of an inaugural flight in just 4 months. And you've done it, but our destination is truly deserving of an astounding round of applause for sustaining this momentum. Increasing accessibility to St. Kitts through airlift is of paramount importance for the development and growth of our destination. For any travel destination, convenient and efficient transportation is a key factor that determines its popularities amongst travelers. The easier it is for visitors to arrive at their destination, the more likely they are to choose the destination for further vacations.
In the region, Caribbean Airlines services countries as far north as the Bahamas to Guyana in the south, including Curacao, Cuba, Jamaica, St. Vincent, and Suriname. It also travels to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, New York, Orlando, and Toronto. With the ZIZ News, I'm Mervyn Thompson.
Ride-hailing businesses such as Uber and Lyft have grown in popularity over the past few years, and in St. Kitts and Nevis, similar services are being offered by certain businesses and individuals. However, these providers may soon find themselves in trouble with the law, as it was revealed at a recent consultation between the Tourism Ministry and taxi drivers that using a private vehicle to transport people for a fee is against the law. Deputy Commissioner of Police Cromwell Henry told ZIZ News that there is no legal designation for these types of ride services.
If you're carrying persons for passengers for pay, then you must have the appropriate registration designation on your vehicle. Of course, if you're not carrying the appropriate designation, then you will be committing an offense. So if you're carrying a P license plate, then you should not be carrying passengers for hire or reward. You must be carrying a public service registration in order to do that.
He said at this time, cracking down on these services would be impractical.
If I see you carrying someone in your vehicle, I'm not going to stop you and ask you if the person is paying you, or if that is your friend, or if you're carrying him for free. There must be some complaint. Something would have to happen for the police to intervene. Or else it would mean that we would have to go around and stop every private vehicle and ask the passenger if they are paying. And of course, I'm certain most of them would say no.
He said aside from operating illegally, ride services could also find themselves in a difficult situation when claiming from insurance companies.
If there is an accident and it is discovered that they were providing this type of service, then the insurance company might just decline to honor any claim. And so the passengers, if they are injured, will not be able to claim from the insurance. And the operator of the vehicle, if he damages someone else's vehicle, or even his own vehicle, he will not get any compensation from the insurance and would find himself in some legal jeopardy, having to foot all the bills on his own.
Deputy Commissioner Henry says one solution would to have a specific designation made for these services that offer rides, similar to how the license plate for passenger buses have an H designation and taxis, as behind me, have a T designation. But in order for that to happen, the relevant ministries would have to make a submission to Cabinet. It would have to go before Parliament and then be passed into law. Reporting from the circus in downtown Basse-Terre for ZIZ News, I'm Jason Davis.